Hey everyone, it's Talia here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. We're going to do part 2 of this press on order. In part 1 you saw these florals being created as well as these marble nails and then these complementary chrome press-ons too. So in this order we're going to design this set here with some really fun Frenchies and some nail decals, and then this really cool glass looking heart design. Let's get started. I am going to use some of the neutral tips from Opry's in Short Coffin here. The reason that I wanted to use these is because this color, Salt Glow from Coco and Claire, it does apply really nice in 2 thin coats, but if I have a neutral base for it, then I only have to do 1 coat, which is going to reduce the thickness of the nails. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do 1 coat on all of these nails here and then cure them. If you'll remember from part 1, this customer booked Talia's mystery booking, so we are going to create something fun for Valentine's Day here, but I wanted it to also be something that would be wearable all year round for her too. And we also discussed that she doesn't have any Frenchies in her collection from me, so I'm going to start off by drawing like my guide for my French nails here, and then I'm going to go in with a brush of the Opry gel polish and I'm going to fill it in. Now I like working with the Opry gel polishes for Frenches because I generally can get away with 1 coat, and again reducing the thickness of the nails when I'm done creating these. Some of them I do find, especially like the French series, needs more than 1 coat, but particularly the colors that I picked here, you'll see that I only do them in 1 coat. I am trying to match colors on those decals that I was planning to use for this nail set. So I am picking really bright colors that again are going to be perfect for spring and summer. I think these are going to be good transitional colors for the upcoming seasons. So this green I thought was just such a pretty color, and I know many of us probably have some decent greens in our collection but don't reach for them very often. I love incorporating green as more of like an accent nail than the actual focus of the design. Then it at least gets me using the greens that I love to use but people generally don't request. A really bold pink shade to go with this design as well, and when I start my French designs I like to generally dot where I think the center is and then outline the rest of it. And the nice thing about working with these gel polishes is if you don't get your French exactly how you want it, you can kind of clean it up a little bit with a fine liner brush, or you can also go in and swipe your smile lines a little bit more too. I have been having a lot of fun playing around with Frenches, however they are incredibly time consuming, so usually I'll do them as like an accent on a nail, not necessarily all 10 nails of it, but this set turns out so pretty, so it was 100% worth it. Now for the yellow shade, I wasn't really liking the super bright color and I wasn't really liking the super neutral yellow color here, so I decided to mix them together until I was happy with a shade that kind of matched the tones of the gel polishes that I have a little bit better. And because I'm working from my ring palette for most of the French anyway, this just worked out perfect. These gel polishes mix really nicely to create some different shades if you're trying to fill in some colors in your collection. I like to use the brush that's on the gel polish to actually fill in the French nail here, so I am going to remove most of the gel product that was on there and then go in and work directly off of my palette here. I just find that to be a little bit easier. The last shade that I picked is this beautiful turquoise type of shade. I really like the color combination that I pulled. I tried a few different color combinations to see which color I wanted on each of the Frenches, and I think that this one really tied a bunch of the different colors of the decals together. You guys will see once we start applying the decals, but the last nail here is the pinky one to put this really pretty turquoise color on. These were the 3 decal sheets that I had pulled that I wanted to work with because they had hearts and then some really fun stars on them. Some of these nail stickers are a little bit raised, so when you're putting them on the nails, they are going to have a little bit of stuff poking through them. These ones are more flat that I'm applying with the hearts here. I decided to do the hearts on the pointer finger and the ring finger. I wanted them to be kind of alternating. And then on the other fingers, I am just grabbing some of the star images, some of the really cute little heart ones. These ones are also pretty raised. Both of these ones are. And I'm just going to put the nail decals down in colors that kind of coordinate. So on this yellow nail, I'm going to have like the purple and blue heart, and then on the blue nail, I'm going to have some purple. And so that's how I kind of tie in the different colors that I have in my palette. Is I like on a purple nail, I would not put a purple sticker, if that makes sense. So you can just go straight over top of these nail decals with the top coat, which is what I end up doing for this set. But what I found is that I needed to do 2 coats of the top coat with this just to make sure everything was kind of covered. And some of those raised ones you're going to feel them through. So if you didn't want that, you could encapsulate them in like a clear gel. And I kind of wish that I almost would have done that. I just think that maybe the top coat would have laid a little bit more flat if I would have done it like that. But I'm going to do the same thing on the other hand here. Just put some nail decals down that are in alternating colors from the other colors on the nail here. I really like working with these nail stickers. I find that they are unique to anything that I have in my collection, and I personally like the little raised look on these, but I could definitely see that for some people it might bug them. So this is what the finished look turns out like with all of the nail decals, the different colors, and that salt glow as the background. I do include a complimentary Talia's Choice with any press-on orders, and this is the one that I came up with for this design because it is supposed to be a Valentine's Day look. So I wanted to play around with these gel polishes from Nail Career Education. They are glass gels and they are in pretty unique shades. As you can tell though, they are quite a bit darker than the palette that I'm going with. So I'm actually going to take some of my Opry gels and just drop them in on my palette here. Now at the time of creating this, in this moment, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with these. I thought, you know what, let's just put them on the nail and kind of see what they do. So as I'm applying it here, I'm thinking, you know what, I think I would like a little bit more of that glass gel to be peeking through. And I'm just going to brush it down on the nail so it looks like a brush stroke glass gel weathered type of look. And I was really happy with how this turned out. I ended up only doing it in 1 coat because I was liking the see-throughness of the gels. Now I tried a couple different brushes out for this technique and I ultimately liked the brush that was in the gel bottles from Nail Career Education. So same thing, I'm just going to wipe off, well actually I don't even think I needed to wipe off the excess before I dipped it into the color palette because I was just working with clear gel anyway. But before I go and put the brush back in the container, I do end up wiping off like the more creamy gel polish that is kind of on the brush now. So I do it in the pink and then the yellow here. This one turned out really cool because you could really see the difference between the glass gel color and the color of the Opry colors here. But I am making the nails match the set. So the purple one is going to be the thumbs, the yellow one is going to be the pointer finger, I believe, and when you see them at the end, they do kind of pair really nicely with the original set that we had made. I do this a lot with nail art. I will just play around with different products that I have in my collection and just kind of see what happens with it. I thought this look turned out really cool, and you likely will see some different weathered type of looks from me in the future because I think this is just such a fun technique and a great way to use some of those glass gels in your collection. So you could definitely stop there. That looked fantastic, but I really wanted to play with these nail flakes a little bit more because they are kind of like a neutral flake but also rainbow. I thought they would work really good for this set. So the Opry gel polish does not have a dispersion layer, but the Nail Career Education one does. So some of these flakes are adhering to some different parts of the nail here, and I did not want too many flakes on the nail, just a little bit. Now, I mentioned many times in my tutorial videos why I prefer to stamp on top of a matte surface. This is just one primary example here because the flakes are going to create like an uneven surface for you to stamp on top of, but if you matte top coat them, then you're going to have a smooth surface to stamp on top of, or you could buff them if there was any flakes kind of poking out. The reason I use the Cocoa and Claire one all the time is because it does not alter what those flakes or glitters look like, whereas some matte top coats out there will completely mattify whatever glitters you are working with. I am going to go in and do a little bit of stamps on top of these because it was a Valentine's Day set. I just wanted like a little hint of some of the hearts throughout the nails. So I end up putting one really cool heart on each of the nails here using this particular stamping plate that I love reaching for heart nails, Valentine's Day nails. This one I stamped down and I actually ended up taking off because it just was not the vibe that I was going for. Just another part of the creative process. Try things, see if they work. If they don't work, acetone will take off any of your stamping polish like really cleanly. So if you stamp something down and you're like, this is just not working for me, it will just completely change it. And that's another reason why I like stamping on top of a matte surface too, is because if I was to stamp on top of those flakes and then I didn't like it and I went to remove it, I would end up taking those flakes off too, because they're not essentially cured in that gel. So if you guys are interested in any more of my tips and tricks for working with different mediums, I do have a variety of nail art workshops available. And in those workshops, it is filmed more real time, so you guys can actually see all of the really detailed steps of creating these different nail designs that you see on my YouTube channel, but we dive in a lot more in depth on my workshops. So definitely check them out. There is 3 of them up that you can immediately sign into, and then 2 of them are up for a pre-sale right now, and they will launch on March 7th. So the pre-sale pricing is a great deal if you wanted to get in on any workshops. Now for the best part, we are going to top coat all of these nails. We're going to start to see more of that like layered glass weathered look here, as well as some of those flakes popping through with this particular step. And this is the completed look with them all put together here. And then this is the client's final order. You'll see 2 little nails on the right corner there. Those are some fixes that I had included in her order here too. But thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it and seeing more of the creative process of creating press-on orders. Make sure you're following me on all my social media, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!